What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Welcome back to the Harsh Language Podcast, folks. Marvin, Dusty, what's going on, fellas?
What up?
What's up?
Welcome
Feels like it's
back.
been a month since I recorded.
Yeah, you haven't been here in a while, and then we skipped last week. We're on episode 87, though, boys.
Damn.
We're here.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Excited for this one. I've been looking forward to this for basically like 2 months. We're talking about Late Night with the Devil a little bit later on in the show, folks.
Mm-hmm.
This was big for me. I was excited. How's everybody been doing? What you been up to, Marvin? You've been missing the longest.
Yeah. Been watching some stuff.
Yeah?
I completely finished Fallout, the TV show by Amazon. That was awesome.
That's right.
Walter Goggins is, obviously it's Walter Goggins, so that was
Don't
really
even talk
good.
to me about Walter Goggins, because I've been trying to get you motherfuckers to watch Righteous Gemstones for like 2 years now.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I need to watch that too.
And he's in Vice Principals. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's a great show.
I finished that. I watched like one episode of X-Men 97, so I'm like 3 episodes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else?
Dusty's shaking his head because I know for a fact, I haven't watched it yet either, but I heard episode 5 is like soul crushing, but like a real tearjerker, especially if you're if you like Dusty and you're a big Gambit fan. Apparently episode 5 is a big Gambit episode. I don't know more than that, but all I know is that, and has me excited to watch it.
Yeah. Besides that, I haven't been watching much.
Okay.
I need to catch up on Shogun. I need to catch up on a lot of stuff, but I did finish Fallout, so.
All right, that's cool. I'm behind on a lot of shit. I was telling you guys earlier, I got like anxiety about how many shows I'm backed up on. I got at least 10 shows, I think, like on the back burner that I gotta start fucking whittling down. I can't find the fucking time. I completely like fixed my sleep schedule. Like my sleep schedule, as you guys know, is like not great. I mean, it's not bad. It's
pretty
good.
bad.
No, it works for me.
It's pretty awful.
It's just not
consistent. It's just different. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's different.
It's different. It's not like I don't have a traditional job where I have to wake up at a certain time and go to work. I work for myself from home. I can wake up whenever the fuck I want. That being said, I traditionally go to bed late. I always have, even as a child. Yeah. I was always like a late night guy. Like, you know, you're a fucking kid in elementary school. You're supposed to be going to bed at like fucking 8, 9 o'clock. I used to stay up till like 10, 10:30, 11 to watch fucking South Park and Beavis and Butthead. I just like beg my mother to like let me stay awake. So I've always been a night owl, but you know, it gets bad sometimes. Like what happens to me is like I always creep and creep and creep and creep and creep and creep, and you start to go to bed later and later and later and later and later and later.
Instead of 2 a.m., it's 3 a.m. Before you know it, it's 5 a.m.
And before you know that, it's fucking 10 a.m. because there's been several weeks where I was going to sleep at like 10 a.m. It's not good. So yes, consistency is key. I've recently gotten myself back on like what I think is a good schedule for me, which is going to sleep around 3:30, maybe 4, and waking up around like 10 to 11-ish. I think that works for me. So yeah, but in doing so, every time I like fix my shit, my body is just trying to adjust to it, and I like around this time, like I'm standing right now to try to stay awake, but I'm fucking sleepy. Like if I was sitting in my chair, I'd be like fucking dozing off with like my heated blanket on and shit. So it's hard to like watch stuff when I'm feeling like that. I just can't focus on it, you know?
Yeah. No, I get that.
So I'm backed up as a motherfucker. I will say though, the only thing I watched was for last week's episode, which we ended up canceling because the scheduling stuff. But we were supposed to talk about what the fuck was the movie now?
Late Night with the
Anatomy of
Devil.
a Fall, that one?
Anatomy of a Fall, yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
So that's the only thing I've watched recently.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, no, I thought that was great. Did you end up watching that, Dusty, or no?
No, I've not watched that yet.
It was good.
What's the one I did watch?
Yeah, it was good. It was like a different take on a whodunit type of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I think maybe we reschedule that for the coming month because I would like to talk about that movie. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. How you been, Dusty? What you been up to? I know you were traveling again, kinda.
Yeah, traveling. Yeah, I've been running all over the state, seeing family and friends, and then spent a couple days down in South Texas,
Nice.
hanging out with some old friends. One of my oldest friends, actually.
Nice.
nice.
How'd that go?
That was good. I haven't got to see a whole lot. I did watch something the other day. Damaged, the new Samuel L. Jackson movie. It is not good.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Vincent Cassell, who's also a really good actor. I thought it would be a good movie. I think it's 4.5 on IMDb right now. Whew. I fell asleep during it. So.
Wait, Vincent D'Onofrio's in it, you said?
No, Vincent Cassell.
Oh, Vincent Cassell. Okay, yeah. What, Marvin?
I'm looking at the like the little I forgot what it's called now. Like the preview
Synopsis?
of the trailer. No, just looking at
right.
the little preview of the trailer, like the
Teaser?
no, just the like the
Thumbnail?
fucking thumbnail.
The thumbnail, yeah.
And it looks like he's wearing the fucking what's the name? The Nick Fury get up.
Oh.
He's literally got all black, or his shirt's like burgundy or some shit, and then he's got a black toboggan on.
It's like
with a gun like this.
Yeah, let's hire you to just be Nick Fury for
Teacup in it.
Yeah. So you watched that, huh? How's your show watching doing? You're caught up on X-Men 97?
Yeah, I am. I was able to catch up on a few shows that I'm watching. I'm watching The Rookie. I started watching that again. I stopped for a little while because during COVID, the film editing got annoying to me. They went with, it used to just be like full production show. And every now and again, they'd cut to a clip of like they were wearing body cams because it's a cop show with Nathan Fillion. I'm a big fan. I watch anything he's in. I guess I'm a stan of Fillion.
That's fair.
But they started doing editing where they were doing more and more scenes. Like almost an entire episode would be like body cam footage. And I was like, where'd the production go? But that was all the COVID stuff they had to cut down.
Right.
But I picked that back up, and The Bad Batch is almost over. I watched that, but that's a short show. And I'm still watching The Rookie. It's the last season. Fans are upset about that one because I think they're going to end it at like episode 296 or 297. They're like, come on, man. Give us 300.
Yeah. That's funny.
That seems
When
bizarre.
you said Nathan Fillion, I thought of the other Nathan from Nathan For You or whatever the fuck it's called.
I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Nathan Felder.
Nathan.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
You've never seen Nathan For You, the comedy show?
No.
Oh, wow.
You're talking some crazy shit right now.
Nah, that's some good shit.
I've never seen that. Never heard of it. Nathan Fillion is like, he's like an not old school, but he's like, what was he in? What's his like biggest role? Probably like fucking Starship Troopers or some shit. Was he in that?
Yeah, I believe he was in that.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
I just remember him from.
Oh no, Firefly. Firefly is the thing, and Serenity. Those are his like big movies.
Firefly was the show, but Serenity was the movie.
And then he was like the disembodied head in
Santa Clarita Diet.
Santa Clarita Diet. Yeah. Fuck, that was such a good show. I can't believe that shit got canceled.
Thanks, Netflix.
Fuck Netflix, bro. Oh, and he is in Resident Alien, actually. Believe it or not. He's a voice. He does a voice of a thing. Oh, you watched the first season, Dusty. He was the octopus in the first season.
Yeah, I've seen the first two seasons. I'm caught up. I have not watched the third season. I'm waiting for it to come out so I can watch it with my lady. But
it is out.
Yeah, well,
you mean fully
right now.
released?
It's not out.
I see.
Yeah, waiting for it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you told me you've been watching that with her. Does she like it? Nice.
Yeah, she caught up. Yeah, fan.
It's a great show.
Got a bunch of shows that she hasn't seen that I gotta make her watch list.
That's fair.
Like Better Call Saul and
yeah, gotta do that.
The Wire and
Oof.
a whole bunch of stuff she hasn't seen.
Your girl watches stuff like that? My girl doesn't want to watch that kind of shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some heavy hitters.
You watch,
gotta give
it depends. I,
What
guess
does she
I
watch?
got her watching Reachers. She really enjoyed that one.
What does C watch
Reacher.
in terms of shows?
She really likes the like family oriented stuff. Like she's a big fan of This Is Us, which was like a network TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Some other stuff. I don't really know the names or anything like that. And some other reality TV type stuff too.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All
She
right.
watched some stuff with me, like, you know. but
Yeah. Well, I mean,
no Game
she-
of Thrones, no like.
seems
nothing
like she's
that,
open to
really.
watching movies with you. She watches a lot of movies you watch
Yeah,
for the
she'll-
show,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
horror movies. She seems to be a horror movie fan.
she does like the horror movies. She's not I don't know. She's also kind of like a hipster when it comes to the big TV shows. Like she doesn't
Oh.
want to watch them because other people love them so much.
Because they're popular.
All
Yeah.
right.
I know a couple
So-
people like that.
Punk rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, don't fucking call it punk. That's not punk rock, okay? It's
Yeah.
hipster shit. That's hipster. It's
Rebellious.
contrarianism. No, I have a friend like
Yeah.
that. He'll like literally, if it's fucking popular, hates it. If
Doesn't
it
even-
if
yeah.
the most obscure bullshit fucking nonsense, he'll be like, "Oh, that's fucking the most brilliant thing I've ever seen." I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
sure." But
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So I guess we can start talking about some news. I'm sure we got a lot of catching up to do. But
Yeah.
curious, I sent you a message earlier, Dusty. I don't know if this was already on your news, but I want to open it up with this. Did you see that they are making a sequel to Face Off with Nicolas Cage and John Travolta coming back?
I did see
Can't
that.
wait.
I think we had talked about it a little bit in one episode because it was announced. What were the names?
Did we talk about it?
Yeah. Oh, Adam Wingard and Simon
Adam Wingard,
Barrett.
yeah.
They were reportedly teaming up for a face-off sequel, but that was really all we knew. We had talked about there being, because I think we asked Marvin if he'd seen Face-Off, and I don't actually remember if.
We did talk. Yeah.
We-
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was.
Have
yeah.
you seen it?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But yeah, the Adam Wingard was on the Fourth Wall podcast, and this is what he had to say. He said, "Look, I mean, like the only way that we're going to do this really is if we get, the original cast.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say how it works or anything, but like it's got to be 100% the real follow-up, not just like some fan service movie, not just some ka-ching thing. This
Mhm.
has to feel like the ultimate follow-up to the original film. Obviously, it's them doing it, so we're not going to get any John Woo. But apparently, it was confirmed that Nick Cage, or I guess it was with the David Rickman, one of the Hollywood insiders, confirmed that Nick Cage and John Travolta are returning. So yeah,
Interesting though. I don't know. Like, Face Off's not a great movie. Like, right? It's not.
oh come on.
Well, no. Listen. Let me.
What?
No.
That's
Like,
a cult
Castor
classic.
Troy,
no. It's a good
I
movie.
could eat a peach for hours.
But it's like one of those like classic, 90s action. It's a fucking John movie.
It's very
John Woo movie.
cliche. It's cliche.
Yeah. So like,
But
it's
that
like,
doesn't mean it's a bad movie.
No,
I
no.
think
That's
it's a
not what
great movie.
That's not what I mean. I just mean like it's not. You know what I mean. But here's the
I
thing
don't know.
now.
IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes.
No, it's great. It's
They
a good
say
movie.
otherwise.
It's a great action movie. But I have a reason for what I'm trying to say. Let me just. Do we think that this movie works without John Woo? That's my question.
Mm.
I don't know who the fuck.
John
Whatever.
Woo is
What
a.
else
These
is going
guys
on
are.
with it?
Yeah, these guys did been doing the Godzilla Kong movies,
Yeah, yeah.
the MonsterVerse movies, Marvin. So
John
Yeah.
Woo, Marvin, is a action director
mhm.
who has made some of the more iconic like action. He had it. His brand of action is like it's like its own genre essentially.
Yeah, his fighting choreographing is it's easy. It's pretty easy to pick out. Like, oh, that's a John Woo film.
What's the
Oh, okay.
what's the
I haven't seen
quintessential
any other one that he's done.
what's the
It's like-
quintessential
yeah.
like action movie thing you think of from the 90s? I could tell you. You don't even have to think. It's a man in
It's a
slow
fucking boat
motion
going up
jumping.
and exploding.
Nah, it's a dude jumping across the screen, fucking with dual wielding pistols and shooting. That's
From the
like
90s?
yeah, that is classic
Maybe.
John Woo shit. In fact,
Okay.
remember the game Hard Boiled? there was a game for PlayStation that he directed, and it was like literally that. It's just you jumping around shooting. It was fucking great. But yeah, so I don't know. But here's the thing. I think this is going to bring me through a further rabbit hole that I want to talk about. I watched with my friend recently. She hadn't seen them. We watched all 3 Mummy films, the ones with Brendan Fraser.
Big fan.
I had never seen the third one. This was my first time watching the third one. In fact, I didn't even know the third one existed.
I don't know if I've seen the third one.
It was the one with...
You're not talking about Scorpion King.
No, that's the second one. So it was the Mummy, Mummy Returns, which Mummy Returns introduces the Scorpion King. He's in like 2 scenes. The third...
At the very end,
Yeah, the third was something... I don't even remember the name of it, but it's Jet Li is in it. And Jet Li plays like the Mummy, and it's about the Terracotta Army, and like it uses like that whole thing. He plays Quincy.
I've never seen that one.
Quincy, the fucking character from Civ, the China's leader.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that one. Then there was the spin-off prior to that, The Scorpion King, which was just about the Scorpion King,
starring The Rock.
Yeah, and then they made the Tom Cruise one in 2017, which was an abomination.
Never saw it.
And that was when they were trying to resurrect
one of Tom Cruise's worst films, actually.
Yeah, and that was when they were trying to when Universal was trying to resurrect their like Universal Monsterverse, which never got off the ground. Anyhow, we were watching these 3 films, and like they're like older, and like I forgot I hadn't seen them in years, the first 2, and I was like, wow, the CGI is crazy bad back then. Like it is, it's like watching the prequel Star Wars movies. Like it's bad. This is worse than that. But
I don't remember it as being bad. That's weird.
The movie's not bad. It's just
no, the CGI. I'm saying I don't.
Well, of course you don't remember it being bad because it was fucking dope back then. But you watch it now, it looks like a fucking It looks like a PS1 game. So, well, anyhow, we were watching it, and the next day she was like, "Wow, I had so much fun watching those movies." She's like, "I feel like I went to the Oscars," meaning like. That's like a time of movies that's like dead and gone. Like you don't get movies like that anymore, which are like, I mean, let's face it, like everything that comes out now either sucks or is like a remake or a reboot. Like we've talked about it numerous times. It's like rare you get something that's like super original and like really well done. Spoilers, Late Night with the Devil. It's like few and far between where you get movies like that. So this was the Mummy comes from a time where like that's all it was like, oh wow, I've never seen this before. Oh wow, this is really fun. It's like an adventure sort of horror like action movie. Face Off is from that time. It's from a time of movies that we don't have anymore. Action movies now are almost always comic book movies or comic book adjacent movies.
But it's because what was that one? Because they get so cliche. They've become so cliche. I guess I want to say because they've always been cliche. But like, what was the one? The Red Notice that Netflix did. It had so many big name actors in it.
I don't recall.
Like exactly.
Yeah,
it was not a great action movie because they're just
right.
I don't know. It's unoriginal now.
So the question is. Does Face Off work without John Woo, who's a classic action director? I would venture to guess probably could, because I think Adam Wingard's a good filmmaker. But does this genre even can this even be a thing nowadays? Like Marvin, you made the joke a couple of weeks ago about Bad Boys. I remember because I was editing the video where you made fun of it.
Yeah.
Like Bad Boys is a classic action movie. Everybody loves Bad Boys. Everybody loves Bad Boys too. But the last 2 or 1, however many were terrible.
Terrible, yep.
So it's like, are they terrible though, or are we just past those types of movies as a civilization? I'm curious.
No, there's been some good action movies.
Make a short out of this too.
Extraction was good. That was like, wasn't that original and that was action?
The
Yes.
first one was good. The second one was bad, but yeah.
Well, the first one was good. Right. Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah. But again, few and far between.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry. Stranglehold was the video game that John Woo directed. It was based off of the movie Hard Boiled.
Okay.
But Hard Boiled is John Woo's like probably most famous movie, just so you know.
Yeah, it's not many great action movies that I could remember besides the one I just named.
yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Do we get moved? Like, just remember, like, I don't know. It was just like such a interesting.
I mean, I think occasionally we do because I don't know, but we're getting into this realm of what is it, the stunt guys that are turning into directors. Like, we got John Wick, and that turned into a huge franchise. Like the first
That's
film.
true. But
the first film was unprecedented somewhat in like how they took the seriousness of the fight scenes and the gunplay and the gun skills.
And
it turned some things around, but then now everybody's trying to copy that. And so every now and again you get one that comes along that's just fucking great. But
the industry is such that like everybody's looking to not be original. They just want to make the buck. So they'll do something that it's like, oh, John Wick was successful. Let's make our own John Wick. And it's like super like, and why was the first John Wick so successful? Because I remember my buddy George was like, yo, we got to go see this movie, John Wick. It looks sick. And I was like, nah, that looks fucking terrible. That looks so bad. I remember walking out of the theater like, I apologize. I wholeheartedly, that was one of the best movies I've ever seen. But like, why is John Wick so good, the first one? Because it's like original. Because what's the thing that John Wick does? What's the hook? Yes, you have the cool gun fu that they coined the phrase for. It has really good choreography, all that stuff. But what's the real hook of John Wick? I'd argue the real hook of John Wick is that it's one of the only movies that like did the thing that it said the thing in the movie out loud that audiences always say watching a movie like that. When you're watching a revenge flick, as an audience member, either in your head or out loud, you're like, oh, you fucked up. You fucked up. You're about to fucking die. That's what the audience says when they watch movies like that. This movie did that thing in the movie. It was like it reacted for you with like when the father was talking to the kid and he's like, I can't protect you. Like, you fucked up. Like, you fucking killed John Wick's dog and there's nothing I could do to help you.
He's
like,
coming for you.
Yeah. Like, there's just nothing I could do. So that's the hook of that movie. Yeah. It is not what you did that angers me so. It is who you did it to. The fucking nobody. It's still so good. Like, I'll watch it tonight and get chills. It's like, so that's like the hook of John Wick. And I just feel like we're in an age now where it's like, we're not going to get movies like fucking Face Off or like Con Air or all these like cheesy but good action movies from back in the 90s.
Broken Arrow.
Yeah, Broken Arrow, another John Woo movie. Or like, you know, the Mission Impossible movies too. Like, those are still trying to like be a thing. But I don't know. I just don't feel like, I don't know. I feel like we passed kind of this like golden age of movies where like 80s, I feel like had the comedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 80s had comedy on lock. 90s was like action, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were getting better with special effects.
Yeah.
And
Right.
So I don't know.
It's a different time. I mean,
but I really think
it's like the flavor of the decade. They're just gonna. Why would they make any different if they know what's selling right now? They'll just follow the trend. They don't care to be original.
It's totally fair. But it's one of the reasons why I romanticize, as a lot of people do, like comedies of the 80s, specifically Ghostbusters. And I said this in our review of Ghostbusters, like, you just don't get movies like that anymore. You don't get comedy like that anymore, where it's just like purely funny. It's like something about it now just seems like kind of like forced, and it's like almost like jump scares in horror movies, like, right? Like, that's the way to scare somebody. In comedy, it's like comedy's version of a jump scare. It's like a forced kind of joke, where Ghostbusters is just, and other movies from the 80s, it's just like naturally funny. I don't know how to explain it better than that. But either way, I think I said this to my friend too after watching The Mummy. And she was like, oh, do you think so? I really think Marvel like ruined Hollywood. And I don't know if they don't think they did it intentionally. I just feel like they did a thing that like completely shook the fucking industry, and everybody is trying to like recreate that in some way or is in some form or another. Like what Marvel did with that first 10 years of film is like unprecedented. Like they made a TV show out of like a series, a serialized set of films. Like, that's never been done before, and it made bajillions of dollars. So it's like everybody's trying to do that thing, but I think everybody's trying to just make a quick buck, and like that
Yeah, well, everybody wants the next expanded universe that they can build upon that's going to be a blockbuster seller, but not all of them are going to be.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think
yeah.
you got that back in the day too.
You did for sure, totally. But it's not like it is now. Now it's egregious.
It wasn't
it's like,
as egregious and like forced,
dude.
Like,
well, back then they were just doing trilogies.
To come back for 10, 20 movies in a row.
Yeah,
or how many ever Marvel movies we all went to see in a row.
Yeah, because they're not trying to make a movie for you now today. They're trying to make a movie for you 10 years from now, where you're going to take your fucking kid and spend twice the money because you're buying 2 tickets. Like, that's the thing. It's really crazy. And you know, like, how often do we see movies like even this one? I after we watched, Marvin and I watched Late Night with the Devil earlier. He watched it with me, and we rarely watch this stuff together. Well,
which we should probably do more, I think.
Yeah, we used to do it a lot more, but.
Well, I'll talk about that in a second. But either way, we watched it together earlier. So after we watched it, Marvin, I did a little bit of like research and reading just to get a little bit of info to talk about it more. But like, the directors are already talking about making a sequel potentially. And it's like, that's the world we live in. If a movie makes anything, it's like probably going to get a sequel. It's crazy. I hate it.
Yeah. Do it again. Yeah.
And it's going to be bad. Like, it's just,
not everything needs a sequel. Like,
right. Exactly. Yeah, no, totally. But
well, some people hold true to that stuff. I mean, Tim Burton never gave us a Nightmare Before Christmas Part 2, and they've been begging him for that for fucking years.
And I respect him.
I mean, how many years has it been since the Beetlejuice? And like Michael Keaton's going around and being like, well, yeah, we didn't do it because like we didn't think we had a good story to tell. And that's totally fair. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I feel like we're just in such a weird movie time where it's like, that's why movies like Oppenheimer get so hyped.
Yeah,
like,
we are. I mean, have you watched fucking, what's that bullshit fucking remake they did? Oh my gosh. The Patrick Swayze movie.
Oh, no, I haven't watched it. You were hyped for it though. Roadhouse, yeah.
Conor McGregor was in that, right?
There's a lot of TikTok memes about Conor McGregor's acting.
And Jake Gyllenhaal and
yeah, it was bad, right?
It was a disgrace to Roadhouse. The
you
story.
You were hyped for it.
And Patrick Swayze, I thought it'd be all right, but
yeah,
no.
Listen,
no.
I mean,
but yeah, I don't think it's just movies. Even I feel like Marvel's kind of kicking themselves, like, because they want you to come back and watch everything because that just generates more money. So like we always fault Marvel for trying to make you watch everything versus
I don't fault them for it.
Easier to follow.
I don't fault them for it. I like that but I'm used to it. I grew up reading comic books, as did Dusty. We are familiar. You read manga, so I don't know if manga's sort of comic. It is a comic book, technically.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So it's serialized. Like, we as audience members are already conditioned to come back and back and back and back to continue a never-ending story. Regular general audience.
There's anyone though that would speak against like a condensed version of something.
No,
if it gets the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Story and point across.
Well, they tried that, right?
Was there real quick? There's
the Sopranos shorts.
There's an anime that I watch that's still ongoing. It's like, I don't even know how many fucking episodes it is. Honestly, it's ridiculous. But someone
it's ridiculous.
There's a fan that made condensed versions of the episode so that it's like way, way, way shorter, but it's still just as enjoyable. So it's like,
yeah,
it doesn't,
that's fair.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think things have changed a little bit since the age of streaming because I think maybe it's just the new generation and the way streaming has gone because they've condensed storytelling. Whereas like if you look at the X-Files, what is that, like 9 seasons, 30 episodes a season? Like people have been conditioned to come back and come back and come back because back in the day shows would go 5 to 12 seasons and it was 25, 30 episodes a season instead of 5 or 8.
Yeah. Let me clarify. What I meant by come back and back and back is specifically with the comic book thing, because that's what Marvel's trying to do. They're trying to comic book serialize TV or entertainment, TV and movies, where it's like in comic books, you might be a reader of, let's say, Captain America, and you're reading Captain America, and then like there's a crossover event and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to go read those Thor comic books that lead into this. So I have an idea of what's going on. Like that's what we are used to as comic book fans. But that's what they were attempting to do with the movies when they're like, at first it started as just like little bullshit stingers, which was like, hey, here comes the next movie. Like here's Thor's hammer. And they were like, oh, wait, people are like really getting into this shit. We can actually use this as like a thing. It's like, there was a point like after a while where like people went to see the movies because they wanted to see the stinger. Like that was like the thing. That was like the hype. Oh fuck! Did you see the stinger for the?
Yeah.
So it's really brilliant, like marketing, and I think they wanted to take that a step further with the TV shows and be like, well, if people are going to watch all our movies, and if we make something that is integral to the next movie, like of course they'll watch it. And they'll pay for our service. I think that was the strategy. I don't think that was like creatively what they wanted to do. I think that was more of like a top down, like, hey, make us more money type of thing.
Yep.
But either way, whatever the reason is, I think we're in this like weird era of fucking movies and TV where it's like, honestly, like Oppenheimer was a good movie. It was a great movie, but it wasn't like that good that it deserved all this fucking hype. So like, I think when movies like that come out, or Barbie, it's like fucking holy fuck, like this is crazy because we're so starved for those types of things now. That's how I felt when we watched The Holdovers. I was just like, wow, I haven't seen a movie like this in fucking years, where it's just like a simple fucking movie. So I don't know, it's weird, but didn't mean to go on the huge rant with Face Off, but can Face Off work today? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I mean, I want it to be good. I love those fucking types of movies. But yeah, that really dawned on me when I watched The Mummy the other night. I was like, wow, they just really.
Well, The Mummy is
these movies don't exist anymore.
Yeah, or like National Treasure was a great one.
Oh yeah.
Well, the thing about The Mummy, right? That's specific, and Face Off, and all these action movies, as we were talking about. When I said they're bad movies, I didn't mean they're bad. They're great, obviously, but they're not like they're cheesy, right? They're corny, they're campy, but they're still good. Yeah. So you don't get that anymore. You don't get like a fun, campy type of movie. Really, the only genre that delivers that still is horror. I think, and I think when you do get a movie that's like campy, it's just like it's just bad. It's not like meaning to be campy. You know what I mean? I don't know. But anyhow, yeah. So we're getting a Face Off sequel. That's cool. I'll watch it.
Sequels and remakes. The Aang, The Last Airbender, is that what they're calling the movie that they're making?
I didn't know they were making.
You guys see this news? Yeah.
Oh, is this the one that's the animated?
To 2026. Yeah.
Where they're adults. Yeah.
Eric Nam, has been cast to voice adult Aang, and Dave Bautista has been cast as the main villain. Still not much known about this. I think the cast is all that we really have right now, and I think we have some of the friend cast as well, but yeah, it was pushed back to 2026. So
yeah, I'm looking at that.
Damn.
Just small updates on that. We're getting a Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. It drops tomorrow. Ryan Reynolds teased that on his Twitter with a little short teaser. Tuesday, or Monday, April 22nd, I guess. So anyhow,
when does that come out again?
Also new. Oh,
go ahead. You can continue.
I usually write that down at the end of things, but I forgot.
July 26th, so it's coming out soon.
Yeah, July. I wanted to say it was June or July, but the news of 28 years later, Candyman filmmaker Nia DaCosta is actually in talks to direct the second movie in the planned trilogy. So yeah, that's some interesting news that came across the old desk.
Well, hang on a second. That actually makes me excited because... Well, hear me out.
Yeah.
She's fucking good. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There are people I've seen, like Candyman, talking about sequels and reboots. Candyman does not get enough credit. In fact, it has a 5.9 on IMDb. Okay?
What?
Wow.
You guys both saw it?
Yep.
It was fucking good. Okay?
I thought it was good.
I think it got, if I remember correctly, because I was surprised, because I went into it being like, nah, this is going to suck ass, as one would, because it's it's a sequel, but I when I read the reviews, if I remember correctly, there were a lot of people not liking it because it's woke. And it's about like this Candyman was about like fucking what's the word when rich people come in and like push out fucking impoverished people? Gentrification. Yeah, this movie was like very much about that. So a lot of the reviews are like kind of have this like woke anti-woke vibe to it. And like here's somebody here being like scrolling through these reviews, I saw a couple 5-6 stars, but I think people just complaining about the movie focusing on racism rather than horror. People didn't understand the movie. Like I don't think all these reviews that I've seen are people that did not understand the original Candyman, which is very much about racism and gentrification and like all this stuff.
Yeah,
that's what the fuck.
Even that one wasn't like a huge movie. I think this Candyman's more of a
cult classic
following of sorts. So the people who aren't familiar with it are, you know, because of social media, are gonna have their biased fucking woke unwoke bullshit.
But anyway, I think Nia DaCosta did a really great job with that Candyman sequel. And again, it has fucking a bad rating, 5.5. But I thought The Marvels was pretty fun. Out of all the fucking recent Marvel movies that they've made, I think The Marvels was one of the better of them, to be honest. Like, it was a fun movie.
I mean, it's got its problems, mainly that they don't explain anything that happened to it in the rest of the universe movies. But I think it's an underrated film, and
the villain sucked. Well. The female Ronin was kind of shit, but like, I don't know. I didn't think that I didn't think that movie was that bad. Anyway, I like Nia DaCosta. I don't know why they're making 3 movies to be a third movie.
Well, that's what they're doing with their. Tom Cruise is doing with the Mission Impossible finale. There was just going to be a finale, and then they were going to do 2 of them, and now they're making a trilogy out of it.
Like this shit's getting crazy. It's like, okay, we're going to here's our finale, but it can't just be 1 finale. It has to be 3 finales. Like, what the fuck, man? So while I still...
Maybe they got a good story.
Whatever. I mean, that's cool.
Real good.
I would be interested to see her doing it. I do like her. So I'm sorry. Continue.
All right, well, we'll continue on the narrative of sequels. Glenn Powell is set to star in Edgar Wright's remake of The Running Man.
Oh.
This is the 1987 Arnold Schwarzenegger film that was a Stephen King adaptation. It's an all right movie.
The Running Man is great.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's all right.
Oh, I disagree with you, Ev. All right. It's one of his better fucking movies. Come on.
Arnie's?
Yeah. Have you ever seen it, Marvin?
Nope.
Oh
I was
my
just
God.
looking at this. I've never seen it.
I love The Running Man.
We'll put that on the Make Marvin watch and see what he thinks.
Glenn Powell, interesting. He looks like a fucking bot, so I could see it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll give it a go, but the first, like I said, I don't know. It's an interesting story, but Stephen King's got some weird stories, and some of them just don't really convert well to film. I don't know.
Wait, was The Running Man a Stephen King story?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It actually is. I got to call my aunt. He wrote this under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. Okay, that's why I didn't know it was Stephen King. Yeah. So,
what's your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Me?
Both of you.
Oh, I mean, there's...
Not Terminator.
Oh, that's not fair.
How's that not fair?
All right, fine.
That's the obvious answer.
Probably Predator.
Not Predator. That's too easy. No easy ones.
Marvin just keeps moving the goalposts.
Twins.
Okay, that's a good one.
Twins. What is that?
With him and Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Oh, I have seen that.
Kindergarten Cop is a banger.
Kindergarten Cop's a really good one.
I actually love Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way is great.
Oh, what's the one he did with Jamie Lee?
That was
where
amazing.
He was. Yeah,
Marvin has.
He's a special agent,
and obviously,
he's lying.
Hang on.
My all-time favorite has to probably be Batman and Robin, because that's my favorite Batman movie.
I got to make a joke. You're talking about True Lies, okay?
True Lies, yeah.
0% chance.
The Harrier jet or whatever.
0% chance Marvin has seen True Lies.
Oh, wait. No,
I already
no,
see
no,
like
wait,
the
wait,
Windows
wait.
blue screen symbol, like boom, that like the Windows has crashed symbol over his face.
No. I think I've seen this.
James Cameron, baby. That's a great movie. That doesn't count either.
Mhm.
Marvin, I think.
Nah, I haven't seen this.
I think Marvin wanted to know like what, like maybe like under, like less known. I don't know. All his movies are fucking. Like,
End of Days. End
bangers.
of Days, I think, is a highly underrated Arnold Schwarzenegger
End
movie.
of Days is a good movie.
I
Yeah,
haven't seen that.
he fights the devil.
I
Literally,
said The Sixth
Yeah.
Day. I don't know if you guys.
The Sixth Day is a
like
great
that
movie.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
He has a lot of really good ones, but I think to answer your question, and if it's not going to be any of his like main fucking hits, I would have to say Last Action Hero,
That's another great one. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that either.
because my boy
Fucking Commando's good for the cheese, but
Commando's great. Fucking
It's a
pipe
little
through the
over the
guy's
top.
chest and the smoke comes out. Commando's fucking hilarious. Last Action Hero was written by my boy Shane Black, so it's
Mhm.
I'm a little bit
Mm.
biased, but I love Last
Yeah.
Action Hero. Okay, so what the fuck were we just talking about? Oh, Glenn Powell playing Running Man. Okay, that's cool.
yeah.
Glenn
Interesting.
I don't know. Glenn Powell's cool, but
Oh, the women love him right now.
he doesn't seem like a Arnie type.
No, but
Yeah,
here's
it's
doesn't
just
seem like
like
an
a
action guy.
stoic, muscly character is really what they're going for. And he
Oh, so
hits the
is it
nail
not
there.
action? Is it not like an
Yeah.
action movie?
oh, it's an
it is,
action
okay.
movie. But this is an
It
Edgar.
doesn't seem like the action type.
Wait.
Oh,
Well, this is going to be an Edgar Wright movie, so we don't know what the fuck. It could be anything. Like
Edgar Wright.
he directed Shaun of the Dead. Marvin, come on, please.
Oh, okay.
He was
But-
like
Well,
the
I've only
main
seen that one.
protagonist in the Top Gun 2 movie.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Edgar Wright
Mm.
goes through like these. He loves doing like genre
Oh,
films,
I
like
guess I'll talk about
Baby
Or
Driver.
antagonist, not protagonist. I'm sorry.
Baby Driver's like not your prototypical fucking Edgar Wright movie, and it's like an action like car movie, but it's great. Love Baby Driver.
Yeah,
And
it's
then-
a fun
I need to see
movie.
Baby Driver. I haven't seen Baby Driver.
And then again, Last Night in Soho, not your prototypical Edgar Wright movie. It's like a fucking horror drama mystery. Remember we watched that, Dusty?
Is that with Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah, and that was
Yeah, That's a good one.
and that was a fucking great movie. So it's like
Yeah.
he's going through these like genre things. This could be like a typical 80s action movie. I would love. I'll watch Edgar Wright paint the fucking wall. I don't give a fuck. So that's exciting news to me. What else we got?
All right, cool. We're getting a live action R-rated TMNT movie called
Oh shit.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin. This is from a comic book series that they did where one of them is the last one alive and goes on a revenge spree.
Wait,
But we're gonna get a live action R-rated version of this. So
live action R-rated Ninja Turtles film is what you're telling me.
yes, the last. There's only gonna be one of them though. So
And who's directing this?
don't know. This is just coming out. This was from the High Road. I did not have time to collate everything because I've been so busy. Because there's a lot of
that's
stuff that I didn't
cool.
even put in here that I haven't had a chance to read. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
No, that
I'm
is
looking
cool.
forward to that one.
Oh, Walter Hamada is
like we-
producing it. Sorry, Marvin. Go
We
ahead.
just
Okay.
got the animated Ninja Turtles like not that long
Yeah, and we're
ago.
getting
I'm
the
pretty
sequel with
excited for the
Shredder
sequel to
being the
that.
main villain. Yeah.
Yeah. Live action Ninja Turtles. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
I guess
Marvin,
it could be good.
you don't know about
mean,
live
the
action Ninja
original-
Turtles, all right?
You've seen the original, right, Marvin?
He's never seen the originals.
Probably not.
No, we have to show
Oh
him the
my
fucking.
I mean, maybe like in passing,
God.
maybe when I was 5 years old or something.
go
like,
ninja, go
Vanilla
ninja, go.
Ice.
Go,
that's
Ninja,
like,
go.
what was that,
Ninja rap.
90s?
What?
When did that come out? 90s?
80s. Well, yeah, late 80s,
80s?
early 90s. I showed you the rap.
Yeah,
Remember
I-
Vanilla Ice? I showed you that.
Yeah, I remember the rap. That's what I'm saying. I know I haven't seen it. Like,
Yeah. No, listen.
actually.
I was born in the flames of live action Ninja Turtles. That was some of my favorite shit. Dude, I loved Ninja Turtles
Yeah.
growing up. You don't understand. I had the fucking sewer
Yeah.
system toy, like this whole
Mhm.
fucking sewer system. I had the Technodrome. I had all the fucking the animated show on cassette. That oh my god, Ninja Turtles is so good. Give me more Ninja
Games
Turtles.
were
Ninja Turtles
legendary
is
too.
good.
The video games.
It just feels like more like we were talking about earlier. It's just more recycled shit.
Well,
We're
listen,
getting the same shit. Over
The
and over.
animated movie that we watched a couple months back, that shit was fucking good.
that was amazing. Yeah.
And I thought it was better than fucking.
but now we're getting a live action. Then it's like,
well,
come on.
but it's a different story. It's like an
What's next,
Elseworld
the
story.
musical?
Like, yeah. Maybe we're getting one of those for the Joker 2 Fall
You
of Due or
almost
whatever.
made me
There it
spit out
is.
my coffee. I made my tea here. A musical.
Oh
Just
shit!
recycled.
Interesting. Okay, so I got the Variety article up because I'm interested. The studio is developing the bloody and intense graphic novel series Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, with screenwriter Tyler Burton Smith and Walter Hamada's 18 Hertz production company through his multi-year deal. 2020-2022 miniseries written by original Turtles creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, with Eastman and Tom Waltz developing the script, is set in a bleak dystopian future in which Oroku Hiroto, the grandson of the Turtles' arch nemesis Shredder, rules New York City as a totalitarian despot. Hiroto has killed all but one of the Turtles, as well as their mentor Splinter. The remaining Turtles seek revenge by wielding all four of their signature weapons.
Yeah.
This sounds fucking dope.
Jesus Christ.
No,
I'm
this
gonna read
story
that.
is good, and I didn't want to say too much because I know the story, and I don't want to.
I didn't even know this
but
existed.
This is a banger of a storyline, and I'm glad it's coming alive. But
I'm gonna read
this is the
What
kind of
it?
stuff. Just The Last Ronin. If you look TMNT, The Last Ronin, you'll find it.
Okay. I'm gonna read that graphic novel.
Yeah, I would highly recommend. It's a good read.
TMNT, The Last Ronin. There it is.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Elizabeth Tulloch. Did I misspell that? Elizabeth Tulloch. Filming has begun on the series finale of Superman and Lois. It has a title, Dan. It Went By So Fast.
That's the name of the episode?
Yeah, It Went By So Fast is the name of the series finale, and they've begun filming on it.
Wait, what's this?
So
Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois.
Yeah, I
It's
haven't watched
not
that.
The greatest
we're not
live
too
action
far away,
portrayal
so
of Superman.
I'm gonna have to start watching that. I actually got sidetracked because I was doing the Smallville episode and Talkville podcast for a while there, but I got sidetracked. So now I think it's time to get into Smallville or Superman and Lois and finish it up so I can start watching it when it comes out.
Nice.
And Superman news, obviously, we've got some big news for the movie. Not sure, some ruffled some feathers. But Pruitt Taylor Vince has been cast in the role of Jonathan Kent or Pa Kent.
Oh, yeah.
And Neva Howell has been cast to play Martha or Ma Kent. So we have the parents of Clark. I think both of these are great castings. You're talking about Kansas farmers. These two fit the bill of just good rural country folk, and I think they'll do a good job. I know Dan posted some videos about how some people were upset about it, or the Snyder fans, I guess.
Yeah.
Not
So
happy.
I'm actually surprised Screen Crush even touched this, because they don't really do that. I mean, we've made fun of them recently for
Sometimes they do,
doing
but
some
yeah.
weird videos, running
Usually,
out of content. But this is more like, I guess they did it because it's basically offensive. The Zack Snyder fandom is body shaming this dude because he's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
And
see the original Jonathan Kent from the original movie.
yeah, it doesn't matter. They're gonna shit on anything that's not Man of Steel, but
he's an old man with a belly and white hair.
they make a couple of
overalls.
Good, I'm from, civilization, but I'm sure Dusty.
Okay, here we go.
No, I'm kidding. What do you expect a Kansas farmer to look like, really?
I know exactly what they look like.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna make that joke.
Pruitt Taylor Vince plays a pretty good character. Yeah, I think it's a great casting.
First of all, he was great in Walking Dead. And I only remember him from that and Constantine. He was the
Walking Dead.
Yeah, he was on.
He was in Stranger Things, I think.
Was he?
Very small.
That I don't remember, but I do remember him from Walking Dead, and I do remember him from Constantine. He was the priest. That was John Constantine's fucking sidekick guy. Till he he drank himself to death.
Yeah, he played Ray Carroll in season 2 of Stranger Things.
I don't remember that.
He was an orderly at the
okay.
lab.
Okay.
So it was a small role. He's a minor character.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
But I hate to break it to you, Snyder fans. Is Kevin Costner and Diane Lane are not what fucking Kansas farmers look like. That's what like maybe Kansas cheerleader and quarterback couple look like when they get older. Like those are two very good-looking people. Not that Kansas farmers can't be good-looking, but like I don't know, Pruitt Taylor, he fits the bill like perfectly.
Kevin Costner did play one of the greatest farmers in the universe.
John Dutton?
Yeah.
He's fucking
He's a powerful farmer.
He played the fucking Nick Fury of farmers.
Exactly.
But I don't know. It's like I was joking with you guys. We saw the one comment of somebody being like, "What? He doesn't even look like David Cornsweet. How are we supposed to believe that that's fucking Clark's father?" It's like, you're not even a Superman fan. You're just a Zack Snyder fan because you don't know that
it's not his father.
He's a fucking alien.
Yeah.
He crash landed in a field. It was random.
Right.
What the fuck? He's adopted.
And okay, so also acting aside, Kevin Costner's obviously a great actor, but to romanticize like his version of Pa Kent the way they do with that version of Superman, it will never make sense to me. It's like,
I mean, I get it. I kind of get it. You know, I mean, shout out to him for, you know, you're a farmer, you're in shape, you're the baling hay. You can get that. There's two types of farmers. There's the old guy with the belly that can fucking wrestle a bull, or there's you know, the guy that stays in shape and is lean and skinny. But there's all types of fucking farmers. I don't.
Well, that's not necessarily what I'm talking
genetics.
About. There is genetics, but I'm also I'm talking about the fact that like that version of Jonathan Kent was not Jonathan Kent. Like, no surprise, none of those characters are who they are in the comic books. This motherfucker is telling Clark, like, oh, you should have let a fucking school bus full of kids die. And he's like,
That ain't right.
An alien who is the most powerful being in the universe gets his morality from those two people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the dude will do a great job.
Like Homelander, fucking around.
Oh yeah, he's gonna kill it.
I think he's gonna do a great job. I think Snyder fans are fucking whack. Like, don't be fucking body shaming. Like, that's stupid. Like, that's such a dumb criticism. Oh, he's fat. Like, he's not. Because they're trying to.
People become such fans of someone.
Well, they're trying to push this narrative that like that Gunn is making like the budget version of Superman, like not casting stars like Diane Lane and Kevin Costner. And I've made this argument before with Superman. Remember before they announced the casting, and I was like, I hope it's not somebody who's famous.
Yep, I do.
Because in order to embody that role, you have to become the character, and that's it, right?
Right.
Well, this is the problem with iconoclasts like Superman or another, you know, Luke Skywalker. Like Mark Hamill did almost little to nothing after he was Luke Skywalker. I mean, he did a lot of voice acting, but as far as like acting,
but the problem
is somebody
like,
to play that role and they nail it. It's hard for you to see them as anything else.
Well, it's not just
it's like typecasting, but like
it's true. But it's not just nailing it. It's like I don't want to see the actor. I want to see the character. And you can only do that with like lesser known people. When I watch Man of Steel, and this isn't because I don't like the movie or I hate Zack Snyder or whatever, I don't see Jonathan Kent. I see Kevin Costner playing a role. Like,
right.
And in order for
lesser known actors or just really good actors too, though, right? Like,
I don't know. I think personally for characters that have such huge such a huge impact on pop culture, I think they require a lesser known person, because I think, at least for me, you're only seeing the face of the actor. You're not seeing the character they're trying to embody.
I don't know if that's true then.
Listen.
I agree with it somewhat. I think
hang on.
Totally.
Hang on.
The portrayals in like Oppenheimer, I'm thinking of like
different. That's different.
How's that different?
Because they don't have that same impact on pop culture. Superman is like an icon. If Nicolas Cage were to ever play him, it's like, oh, that's Nicolas Cage as Superman. It's like, it's not Superman. You know, I want to see the character. It's why, here's a good example, Marvel. It's why when you like, Chris Evans will forever be known as Captain America. And it's because when he stepped into that role, he was a relatively unknown actor.
Johnny
He was in some stuff.
Blaze.
Yeah. Well, that
Johnny
seems
Storm,
like a
sorry.
detriment to the person, whoever's taking
Well,
up
it
the
is. It
mantle.
is. That's why it's such a huge it's such a huge like commitment. And
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. Dusty's going to disagree with me a little bit, but yes, Robert Downey Jr. had a career prior to that, but by the time he stepped into the role as Tony Stark, he was kind of like forgotten to time because of his
his
past
career
and-
was in shambles. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
he did the one he did Tropic Thunder before,
Mhm, yep.
and that was like that was like his rebound, and they were
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that guy can do this.
But when you see Robert Downey Jr. for the rest of time, you're gonna recognize him as Tony Stark. Same with Christian Bale. You're gonna recognize him as Batman, or Bruce Wayne rather. So it's like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Not
I mean,
those two, like, I mean,
it might be different for me because, like, again, I read comic books, so it's like when I want to be able to look past the actor and see the character. And I think for me, at least personally, this could just be subjective. It probably is, obviously, as most things are. But in order for me to be able to look past the actor, I feel like they should be lesser known. Tobey Maguire was a lesser known actor when he played Spider-Man, and he's your favorite Spider-Man, right? And you recognize him as Spider-Man, and it's hard for you to see anybody else as Spider-Man. I think that's the effect of having a lesser known actor do it. I agree with you. I think any great actor could step into a role like that and crush it and kill it. But I still think there's still a little bit of, at least for me, that's like, wow, that's an actor playing that role. Where I think as like, and Henry Cavill, to his credit, like, I didn't know him before he became Superman. So it's like, I was looking at Superman. I wasn't seeing Henry Cavill playing Superman, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like Jake Gyllenhaal and what's that horror flick he did back in the day? Donnie Darko versus Jake Gyllenhaal and fucking Roadhouse.
Or Jake Gyllenhaal in Spider-Man. If you in Far From Home, it's like, oh, it's Jake Gyllenhaal playing Mysterio. It's like, it's just different. It's weird. I don't think you're wrong, Marvin, and I don't think I'm 100% right. I think there is like a medium ground, but I just think for a character,
big name actors can pull off the right part sometimes,
Totally,
but a lot of times Dan, I think not a lot of times. Sometimes Dan is right where you're not necessarily just watching you're watching that role.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching somebody play that role instead of watching the actual character that you're meant to be watching.
And you mentioned Oppenheimer, Marvin.
Yeah.
I think
it just depends. I feel like it depends on the writing. Like,
it probably does.
If it's written well enough,
that's part of it.
Yeah.
I think Oppenheimer is a really good example too, because it's like, I don't know about you, but when I watch that movie, like, I'm watching Cillian Murphy play Oppenheimer. Like, I'm looking at his performance, and that whole movie, the whole discussion about it is about his performance, and this, totally great. Same with Robert Downey Jr. Like, I'm watching Robert Downey Jr. And I think I said this when we talked about the movie. I'm watching Robert Downey Jr. play this man. Like, it's not, and it's hard for me to turn my brain off and just see the character when I'm very familiar with that actor. I don't know what, maybe it's probably just a me thing.
It was different for me. Yeah.
I have to ask my friend about this, who's an actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Curious what her take will be on it. But yeah, no, I don't totally disagree with you. But I think Pruitt will be great as Pa Kent. And the point I was getting at is he's like, that's a character that is like, it's they call him mild-mannered Clark Kent. Well, he becomes mild-mannered because of those people in his life. Like, they're the ones that ground him and like make him who he is and give him morality and like care about humanity. That's why he's Superman. That's why he's great. And that's why he's not fucking, Homelander.
Jonathan Kent is a humble, hardworking American who believes in, the values that made America what it is,
and made America what
those values are not,
and the values that Superman stands for and has since he became a fucking character, right? And furthermore, I just want to say, so they're criticizing like his looks and stuff, which is completely batshit insane. But then they're like trying to pretend like James Gunn is not a good writer. It's like, you don't think this guy could write a good father figure? Have you seen fucking Guardians of the Galaxy? Yondu is like the ultimate fucking dad. I'm gonna choke up even saying the line, but it's like, he may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy. Like, dude, James Gunn's gonna fucking crush it. Like, shut the fuck up. Kindly go watch Rebel Moon 8 and shut the fuck up. Like,
Well, speaking of, we can We can give you some flowers on that one.
18%.
Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 2, Scargiver, breaks Zack Snyder's own unwanted record. Lowest audience score of his films, which have been held by Sucker Punch, I think, for the last 13 years. It had about a 22 or 21% audience rating.
You don't like Sucker Punch, Dusty? Guess what? He's got a director's cut sitting on the shelf. It's good. He promises. It's way better than the one you saw.
It's went up now. They must have been pumping the ratings.
I'm sure they were.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure when the article came out, the stands were like, we got to pump these numbers. We got to pump these numbers. Make them a liar.
How is Part 2 worsely rated than Part 1? That's insane.
Because he's a bad filmmaker.
I feel like it's probably going to be because he says this one's more action, and it's probably just going to be all action.
More
and
slow-mo.
Like there's going to be plot armors.
All right.
And
I saw the clip. There is like a 25-minute scene of slow motion farming, like of them just like in the field with scythes, just like swiping.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
Oh my God.
And a lot of people making fun of it.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know what this dude's deal is. Did
good.
you watch the
Part 3 is already in the works,
Oh,
Dan,
yeah.
so we got that.
No, he made
Right.
it already. Did you watch the GQ thing? I don't know if it was GQ, but like him going through his like films.
His most iconic roles. Yeah.
Films, yeah. It makes me laugh that like in all the years that I've been making fun of like the DCEU or whatever, like that I was right. Because you hear him talk about it, and he was so enamored with Watchmen, he legitimately wanted to make it with like the Trinity. That's just what he did. That's what he wanted to do. That's what his attempt was, and that's just that. And I had joked about it for years, like he just wanted to make a fucking Watchmen. And it's like, no, he really did. He says it in these fucking things, you know. He says, in order for us to, he has a quote. Hang on, I wrote it down because I was hoping we would talk about it a little bit. He says, where is it? In order to properly understand and test these characters and to make them worthy of the worship we give them, you have to stretch the edges of the character to see if they hold up. I understand the canon of these characters. I promise you. I'm not delusional about what Superman and Batman can do, but I think testing them is important. Well, guess what, buddy? Your test was corny as fuck. I'm sorry to say. You let Jonathan Kent die in a fucking tornado. That's not testing Clark. That's fucking absurd. For him to just be like...
What's the saying? You've been weighed, measured, and found wanting?
I haven't heard that one.
It's from the... it's a movie quote. Heath Ledger's A Knight's Tale.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anywho, and some more news. It's official. The Witcher season 4 is in production, but that's not all. We're already planning season 5, which will be the final season and bring this epic show to a fitting conclusion.
Yeah.
Dude.
I think they know that they're not going to get anything out of the character change with Liam Hemsworth coming on to take over, and they're going to shut it down, give it to conclusion in season 5, which they probably would have done with Henry, I guess. It could really have only gone, like we said,
I don't
shows.
know.
I think a show is good, whether it's 5 episodes a season or 25 episodes a season. About the time you get to season 5 or 7, people are starting to get bored with the story, or you're getting unoriginal with the story, and it's just time to turn it off.
It depends. The shit does run its course. You know me. I'm a 5 season and done type of guy.
Yeah.
But I think The Witcher is a story, I think, that can go longer just because of the source material.
If they'd have done it right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the show's abysmal.
But
so
they didn't build the universe properly because they hated the original material and they shit on the original fucking material and
good riddance.
Ran away the fucking people who loved the story and were there to be a part of it. So
and let's face it, that's why they're canceling it, because I think the thing for Netflix there was like, we need our version of Game of Thrones, and The Witcher could be it. And I don't know that was the case, really. I don't know that there were like a lot. I think the first season probably turned off general audiences. I know my aunt watched it and she was like super fucking confused. I was super fucking confused by the first season. knowing that like, and like I know that I'm watching different time periods take place, and that like these people don't age because he's gone through the trial of the grasses, and she's a fucking mage and keeps herself looking young and beautiful. But that they did not translate that properly in the first season. So I feel like after that, general audience was like, I'm out, don't know what I'm watching. And then all you have left are the Witcher fans, whom you fucking, completely
pissed off.
Yeah. So good riddance.
On or off, either one.
Good riddance.
Okay. All right. Well, the last piece of news we got here. We're going to circle back to what we were talking about, playing roles, known actors, unknown actors, and playing the role that you're playing. David Dastmalchian actually did an interview with Trent Reznor a couple weeks back. I guess they're good friends, and they've talked over the years. One of your favorite people, right, Dan? Trent? You're a big fan?
Yeah, huge fan of Nine Inch Nails. Love Nine Inch Nails. Bigly.
Right. Well, they were having a conversation, and Trent asked him, he's like, how do you feel about like not having control? Because Trent is getting into film scoring, as a musician, you generally have a lot more control. Back in the day you didn't, because music production companies were vampiric a little bit. But
real quick, I just want to say, his film scores are great. I just hate Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
I hate that that like fucking
that's
foundry fucking rock or whatever the fuck that shit is.
But he's talking about getting into film scoring, and he's like, I have to go in thinking like, this is not my song, this is not my album. Mm-hmm. This is I am not even the whole. I'm just part of the whole. And he was asking David, David, how do you go into that? Like, you act the scene, and then they say cut, and you go in, and you don't know what they're going to do in the editing and stuff. So your part's done. Like, how does that not make you nervous? And he's like, well, my first movie, The Dark Knight, it scared the shit out of me because all the scenes were done really fast, and that movie didn't come out for a year. And I was so fucking nervous, and I went to saw it, and I thought it was the greatest movie ever, except the scenes I was in. I thought they were terrible.
Batman Begins, you mean?
Yeah. Batman Begins. Was that the one he was in? He was in Batman? I thought it was okay.
Oh, wait, no. Did he come back in Dark Knight? I don't remember, but
it was The Dark Knight. But
no,
yeah,
he was Batman Begins.
Okay, it was Batman Begins. Sorry, I didn't write it all down because it's a lot. I'm trying to paraphrase it down. But he was talking about like, he brought up Robert De Niro and like, why do you take so many shitty roles? And he's like, I don't care about like the finished product. Somebody gives me a script. I like the project. I like the role. I'm there to play that role.
Right.
I'm a character. I have no control over the director. I have no control over the editing. But I think this is a good character portrayal or a good role. So sometimes actors go in, to play just the role and not give a fuck what happens at the end of it. And they're just in that role and they're in that project for it. And then sometimes people are like, yeah, I am, I'm fucking Nicolas Cage and I'm Superman and I'm going to make it my own, which we never got to see. But
yeah,
you can see how there's a difference there in how people approach projects, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought it was an interesting conversation. There's actually a pretty good interview, him and Trent Reznor, if you want to read the whole thing. But yeah,
I saw. Oh, okay, good.
No, that's it. That's the news.
Is that the segue?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for the news. I'm very excited about Ninja Turtles. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
All right.
Frontman's a good story.
Well,
you guys should read it, the comic.
I would love to. All right, let's get into it. So, people are saying this is one of the best horror movies right now. Late Night with the Devil, starring David Dastmalchian. How do you pronounce his last name?
Dastmalchian. That's how I believe it's pronounced.
Okay. Gonna sound odd considering I can't pronounce his last name, but he's one of my favorite actors out there. I love like when he's in some shit, he's great. Oh man, if you hear his backstory, he was fucking running with the devil back in the day. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Oh yeah.
He goes into his conversation with Trent about how they both like had to fight through drugs and all that shit.
Yeah.
They're demons they had to battle.
He has a background of heroin addiction and depression before breaking out. He's been clean, I think, for like 22 years now. So good for him. Yeah. But yeah. So
he plays these characters to break out of that is what he was kind of trying to explain. Like you get the Heath Ledger who does the Joker, and that sends him down a dark tunnel that ends up in him dying. Whereas David already had that, and he plays these odd, weird, quirky, dark roles to get to escape from it. That's another interesting take.
And
on
that's how he's known.
Roles.
You mentioned him. It's like, oh, that's that weird dude from that thing.
Yeah.
It's like that's kind of his little niche, but he's fucking great. And so yeah, this is Late Night with the Devil. It's written and directed by the Cairnes brothers, Cameron Cairnes and Colin Cairnes, and it stars him and Laura Gordon and a couple of others. Most actors I don't know. He's the only one in the movie I recognized.
Yeah, same.
I first heard about this movie like a couple months back. I think on TikTok, like I saw somebody talking about it, and I watched the trailer for it. And you guys know I sent it to you guys immediately. I was fucking on board, baby. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be amazing. Absolutely brilliant. I couldn't take my eyes off of it, says Stephen King. We got a glorious spectacle of demonic mayhem, unexpected, electrifying. So it went through all the festivals, the festival scene, and it was, getting like, talked about very, very favorably. And then on its opening weekend, it made $666,000, which is hilarious. I don't know if they like fudged the numbers just a little bit to add to the viral marketing of it, but
you have a couple free tickets out.
Yeah, but I was fucking super hyped for this. So what is this movie? This is like, I guess, a found footage movie in a way, technically.
This is like the best found footage take we've had.
Yes.
Because it's high production, because it's television cameras.
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very creative film. It's basically a found footage movie, but not on a camcorder or anything like that. But it is footage of a late night talk show from the 1970s. And in the beginning of this film, you get like this little like backstory, which kind of almost frames it as if it's part of a documentary about the events that we're about to see in this found footage.
Exposition.
Yeah, so the exposition was kind of done in like a documentarian kind of way. I thought that was like super interesting. But yeah, basically we're watching a live television broadcast in 1977, and David, he plays the talk show host who's introduced to us. His name is Jack Delroy, and he's basically like a rival of Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson, as I don't know if you're familiar with Carson, Marvin, but he started the Tonight Show that Jay Leno went on to host, and now fucking Jimmy Fallon,
the OG Tonight Show guy.
Yeah, Johnny Carson literally invented what late night talk shows became. Like he invented all that. He invented all the fucking the monologue and the jokes and the interviews, set, like everything. The set, that's like all from Carson. And in this film, we're watching somebody who's aspiring to compete with Carson, and the ratings start to dwindle, and unfortunately his wife passes away of lung cancer, which they explicitly tell you she was never a smoker. And after she dies, he comes back after like a brief little hiatus and he has a show on Halloween, and this is like his chance to resurrect the show and save the show and fix the ratings. And it's worth noting that before the show started to decline, he had signed a big deal with some like bigger like network or agency or whatever the fuck. So he's facing this pressure to not be famous and also like fail and like lose everything or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Crazy shit starts to happen. We'll talk about it, but I love this fucking movie. What did you think, Marvin? Because I want to know what you thought. I thought you hated it when I first spoke to you about it earlier.
At the first watch through, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like love it for sure.
Yeah, because when you mentioned, you were like, "Did you watch the movie?" I was like, "No, not yet." Why? And you were like,
"Yeah."
I was like, "Oh fuck, he hated it."
I just felt it was one of those like, "Oh man, this was like super hyped up, and it wasn't as good as I thought." But after the second watch, we watched it right before the show.
Yeah,
I thought it was
better.
I thought it was amazing. Yeah,
Ooh,
I mean,
wow.
There was a lot of little things. Well, I watched it with C the first time, just on like the TV.
Yeah.
But watching it with like my headphones and close to the monitor, I was able to catch some stuff that I wasn't able to really catch just on the TV. Which
This
I'm
is-
sure these are things you probably catch if you're watching it like at a theater with really big speakers and
I don't
really
know if
big
you do,
screen.
to be
But I
honest.
mean, it is really subtle, like the audio cues and stuff throughout.
This is one of
with
those movies
little
where, like, I feel like you go back
glitches.
and watch it multiple times, you're going to notice more and more shit that
Yeah.
you didn't the first time, which is cool. I like shit like that.
Surprisingly, yeah. Like I don't really watch movies twice
Mhm.
in a short amount of time like this, but it
Yeah.
was good. I enjoyed it.
What
Yeah,
about you,
sometimes you
Jesse?
pick things up that you didn't otherwise do. I
yeah.
like this
Yeah.
movie. I thought it was good. Got a little interesting there towards the end. Horror movie, I guess. Yeah, it felt more like a mystery thriller, found footage than like pure horror.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess because the devil was involved. It's a horror film, but it was a
Fucking
little light
Abraxas.
on some of that. But I thought it was a really good character portrayal, like the way David played the character and everything, like
Yeah.
developed. I thought it was pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I didn't think it was scary at all. We talk about this all the
No.
time. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
scary. But I will say,
No.
this movie did put an anxiety in me that I haven't really felt watching a movie since Hereditary. Every time I talk about Hereditary, I'll always say, and I've said it on the show, that movie had me fucking anxious, dude. Like white knuckle anxious. Like that movie is so anxiety inducing, Hereditary. Not scary, but anxiety inducing. I didn't feel it as strongly watching this, but this is one of the first times I've felt that again since watching Hereditary. Especially towards the end when like there's all this crazy fucking imagery going on and it's like it really is making you feel fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So let's get into like spoiler stuff to talk about to revive the show. He has this whole plan on Halloween night. He invites on a psychic who can allegedly commune with the dead. And this guy does his typical like Jon Stewart psychic fucking thing where he's like, oh, I'm hearing a name. I'm hearing a name in the crowd. And he ends up like connecting with like this suicide victim.
Peterman.
Yeah. And he then freaks out and like spews this fucking black fucking liquid all over the fucking place. He invited
Exorcist type shit.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. And there's like this question the whole time of like
Invited a naysayer.
Yeah. And so hang on. So if we're the audience of this TV show, which is essentially what we are, we're put in the position of an audience in the 70s or watching this documentary, either of the two, right? And we're wondering like, oh, is this guy a fucking grifter? And I think the movie does a really good job of playing with whatever your bias is. Like, I think if you believe in this type of shit, you would go into this being like, oh, for sure, that's like a psychic. Me, I'm a skeptic, as you guys know. I'm watching this the whole time being like, oh, this guy's fucking faking it. And the movie does a really good job of selling sort of both of those things, I thought.
Yep.
But it would appear that it was really happening, and he fucking ends up dropping dead. One of the other people on the show is a psychic, and one of the other things I liked about this, just a little sidestep, a lot of characters in this movie seem to be inspired by real people from the 70s that were involved in this, like, in the 70s, there was like this wave of fucking psychic bullshit and satanic panic of like the late 70s and into the 80s.
Right.
This skeptic guy he invites on the show, I think, is probably heavily inspired by James Randi, who was a famous skeptic who, much like the character in the movie, Carmichael,
offered money for proof.
He offered like millions of dollars for proof of this shit. He also started his career as a magician. So that's like his angle as a skeptic of like, yo, I know how to do this stuff. Like I could recreate the things that these people are doing. There was a couple of other moments in the movie.
One of my favorite scenes was when he was doing his magic trick and kind of pretending to be like, this isn't supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, wait, is he losing control? Is like the devil coming out? And then he's like, nah, got you, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good scene. I liked it.
So as we're watching this, like the weirdness starts to build and starts to build. So now we got this fucking skeptic on, and we've got this guy talking to the dead who fucking spewed black liquid and then eventually fucking dies off camera. Then we got the next guest who is a fucking woman who is
Stanford PhD, who's going to bring her
Stanford PhD on
patient on the air. Yeah.
What did she call
Good
it?
call, Doc.
Psi something. What was it?
Oh, her thing? I don't remember.
That's some Ghostbusters type shit. Pathology, psychology, paranormal. I don't know.
It was paranormal like stuff, but she called it
parapsychology or something like that.
It was something like that. And she is the guardian of a young child, who is 13, I believe, or 16. I forget the number. Named Lily, and Lily was previously held captive by this satanic cult. Who worshipped a demon by the name of Abraxas, and that cult eventually did some like mass suicide bullshit. But they leave you with a little bit of knowledge that if whoever witnesses a sacrifice will become possessed by Abraxas or whatever the fuck. They in the scene with the cult, when they give you that exposition, they mention that the cult believe that anybody who witnesses a sacrificial murder will come under the influence of Abraxas. That's
when I saw her name instantly, I was
huge hint.
Lily is like Lilith, and if you've played any video
Lilith
game, Lilith is like Lucifer's first wife or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is clearly where we're headed.
So there's a lot of like imagery taken from, previous fucking things and like, real world people like James Randi. They mention the real life couple that the Conjuring films are based off of, whom I think are fucking the most famous grifters in history. What's their name? Ed and Lorraine Warren. They most famously investigated the Amityville horror, which I mentioned is like 10 minutes away from me, funny enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff pulled from all different directions, both real and from films and other possession films. But anyhow, this chick Lily is apparently possessed by a demon, and the woman who is her guardian is like, she wrote a book called Conversation with the Devil, and I don't really understand what her goal is here with the little girl. They don't really get too much into it, other than that, like,
yeah, it was that one was a bit weird. But why would you be peer pressured to come on and exploit your patient if not, like, if you needed funding? I guess, like, if they could have, like, oh, she needs funding, so she needs some exposure because she's losing funding at Stanford or something. Like, they didn't really explain why she was willing to jeopardize the security and safety of her own patient to come on a television show.
Her judgment was off, because if you're in a relationship with someone and they ask you to do something,
but here's
you're more
the thing.
inclined to do it.
Here's the thing, though.
Oh, yeah, because she did. Yeah, they liked each other. That's right. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
I read an interview with him, and he said that for the film, like, they discussed it. They did not have a sexual relationship up until that point yet.
It's inferred that
they like each other. Correct. So basically, what David
don't know.
What David explains in this interview with Variety is that in his mind, because they do all this, like, I don't know if anybody listening knows this, but when movies are made, actors and the filmmakers, they write out like character biographies. I think, what are they, Bibles or something like that?
Sometimes, story Bibles. Sometimes they storyboard and story Bibles. Sometimes they don't.
But a lot of times they have a lot of fucking backstory that we, the audience, never get to see, and it just helps them be the characters. So what he was explaining in this interview was that he was mourning the loss of his wife. This book came across his desk, Conversations with the Devil. He read it and then reached out to her, and they began to like each other. But he said they never had a sexual relationship up until this point. But in his mind, the character probably thought that, like, after this successful episode, they probably would have, like, sparked some sort of thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So anyhow, what happens is this fucking demon gets unleashed and there's like weird shit going on. Everybody fucking dies at the end. And then like he's left with like, he gets put into this like weird fucking like mind prison where like he's like living his worst nightmares. And it ultimately ends with him confronted by his wife who's dying on the bed. And you find out that he made a deal. And it apparently led to her lung cancer. So that's why I mentioned earlier, like it's explicitly stated that she never smokes in the exposition. It's also explicitly stated that he likes to hang out at Bohemian Grove, which is a real life place that is really popular among conspiracy theories, especially Alex Jones, for politicians and powerful people going to meet and worshiping a fucking owl god named Moloch and doing all this crazy rich people shit. So our character goes there, and apparently that's where he struck up a deal with this fucking demon. This is what I want to really talk about because I thought about it after the fact. I don't know if it's as cut and dry as we thought it was when the movie ended. So she tells in his little nightmare sequence, she's like, "Oh, kill me with that sacrificial knife. It's like the pain, blah, 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 blah." Cut to reality. He ended up killing the little girl. Thus, America has now witnessed a sacrifice, and the demon
Everybody's influence.
Abraxas is now influencing
all powerful,
anybody watching this fucking show.
Yeah.
So it ends with you with the idea that like, okay, Abraxas has been unleashed onto the world, and he was sort of pulling the strings this whole time.
Right.
When the movie ended, Marvin and I were talking with Ryan, and I was like, well, clearly he like signed this deal to like basically like fucking Rosemary's Baby, like her husband in that movie signed the deal for his career to take off.
Fame and glory.
In this movie, he signed the deal for the show to like do well, to get fucking great ratings. And it seems like he signed over his wife. Like that's why she got lung cancer and died, not having been a smoker. But I don't know if that's really what happened.
Well, that's a conclusion you can draw as an audience member, but it's not a conclusion that is certain. Absolutely.
The whole time I was watching it, hang on. The whole time I was watching it, I thought, and I think Marvin did too, that the imagery, because there's a lot of times, and this is where Marvin was saying like, oh, I watched it a second time, I didn't notice that. A lot of the imagery that could or could not be noticed are little flashes. Those are all of his wife. It's her like ghost.
Yeah.
You see her standing behind him towards the end. She's got her hand on his shoulder. She is in the mirror at one point. She's flashing in the screen.
And her voice.
She also came through to the psychic with her secret her secret nickname that he had with her, Minnie. And I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, the whole time I watched this, I was like, oh, she's like malevolent and she's like getting revenge on him. And by the end of the movie, you think that she influenced him to stab the little girl so that he would be framed for like basically framing him that he killed this little girl on national TV. You hear the sirens coming. He's clearly going to get arrested for it. And you're like, oh, that's her revenge for him signing over her soul or whatever the fuck he did. I don't think that's the case, actually. Going back and thinking about it and reading his interview, well, he doesn't really say anything, but I don't think he signed over his soul. I think he made a ambiguous deal with the devil that was never really fully explained. As pop culture tells us, the devil is not honest. You make a deal, it's not exactly as it seems to be. If you wish for money, well, guess what? Your whole fucking house is going to get robbed, and the money that you're going to get is going to be the amount you wanted, but it's going to be like insurance money for all the shit that you lost. You're going to lose some shit. So I think he signed an ambiguous deal, and it turned out to be his wife. And I think he disappeared for that period of time because he felt guilt that he knew that that's how she died, right?
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, why would she come to him with the nickname that nobody else knew? Well, clearly she wanted him to know that this psychic was not full of shit. Because he's only doing it for ratings. As he starts out not really believing this shit. Had she come through with her real name, he would have just been like, oh, this is bullshit because it was in the news. Like, I'm famous. My wife died. I think she was trying to warn him that he was going to be manipulated by the demon.
It's it's plausible, but it's also certainly plausible that he made a deal with the devil, and that deal included his wife.
He loved her. His fame was her success
he absolutely
too.
did. And him leaving was the guilt of selling her soul for his fame, and then coming back for his fame. He's reminded that by the devil could be showing up as his wife and teasing him.
Could be
like, yeah, you're doing this shit because you did this. Remember what you did, because the little girl's like, you know what you did. Like it's a tease, like dangling it in front of him. Like, you don't forget what you fucking did. Like, this is your time to shine. We're going to make you fucking famous. You may not have fucking like the way we're going to make you famous, but the deal was you're going to be fucking famous, buddy. So strap in.
I lean more towards that one. And I don't think it was a deal. Well, you're probably meaning a deal with Abraxas or whoever.
Abraxas,
the little girl.
Well, it's late night with the devil, so
because the little girl, she's like, we've met before in the woods and all that. So they clearly have made some sort of meeting or something.
Well, because they suggest that the gatherings at Bohemian Grove are to conjure spirits and forces. So you would think that they conjure this demon. He makes a deal with the demon. But again, I don't think he knew what that deal was, or I think it was misled. I don't think he knew his wife was going to die. Like, I don't think the demon was like,
I don't think so.
I don't think he signed that being like, okay, my wife is going to die. Sure. I think what he did was for his wife, because I think it's very clear in the beginning that like his success is shared with her. Like, he loves her. He even says at the end, I love you. Like, I don't think he would have done that. I don't think he would have like killed her on purpose. I don't think he would have done it on purpose the way the husband does in Rosemary's Baby. Like, I don't think that's the case.
Well, it could be that he did it all because he was already under the influence, because he was already a part of the occult, and maybe he already witnessed a sacrifice. So he was already under the spell of Abraxas, and so everything that he did was Abraxas in lieu of the devil or whatever.
See, I think the nickname is really telling, because I think that was her way of proving that it was really her and not like a grift from the psychic. And then that's why the psychic was killed by the demon, because if you don't follow my theory, him dying makes no fucking sense. Because he communicates with her. Remember how he was like, oh, my fucking head. He's like, I sense a sadness. I need somebody to come forward.
Yeah.
And then he starts fucking gurgling and bloating and fucking spewing black liquid. And then he fucking dies on the ambulance on the way to the hospital.
Right.
So that to me is like, oh, he's the only vessel for Jack to get the message of like, don't fucking trust this chick. Don't fucking listen to this vision. And so the demon killed the fucking psychic so that there was no more communication. I think that's kind of the case. But this brings me to my criticism with the movie, is that I don't think it really effectively communicated these things. I think towards the end of I love this movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was really, it was super creative. I loved visually. The fucking production designers deserve like a fucking award or some shit, because I really felt like I was watching a talk show in the 70s. Like, it was great.
Yeah, for sure. It was good.
However, I thought towards the end of the film, they got a little bit crazy with like the visual stuff. And I think they kind of like lost the plot a little bit, just a bit.
It definitely went like Ghostbusters mode at the end.
Yeah, she's like some fucking cosmic being and like fucking.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that shit was sick,
and you're
but
like,
it was also like, what the
it was
fuck
awesome.
is
Yeah.
You're like, we're gonna watch Late Night with the Devil. This is a horror movie with David Dastmalchian, and I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't read the synopsis. I didn't know anything about this. I start watching the movie and I hear the opening, exposition, and I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna be watching like everybody's gonna go crazy and the camera's gonna fall over and I'm gonna see like somebody dragging a leg around and the devil's gonna come out and people are gonna be murdering each other and it's gonna be bloody and disgusting.
That's it.
Right.
And it turns out, no, it's not any of those things. It's just a simple soul type trick your mind into, is this happening? Is this not happening? Let's go watch the camera. And shout out to the storyteller at the end. It was the crystal ball lady. She's like, we're gonna come back to her. Well, next time we'll bring her back.
Oh yeah,
poor lady.
I thought all that was good with the like the hypnotism and the plays around that.
No, that was all
the
great.
Way the guy like tricked everyone, including us, with hypnotism. I thought that was really interesting too.
I think this movie also really worked as a comedy. It was very funny.
Oh, it was it was really funny.
A lot of like the little side characters, like his sidekick on the show was hilarious.
Gus,
like
he was so funny.
Some of the fucking like the people in the back. I think he was probably the production manager.
Leo.
Phil, the black guy.
Oh, the black guy. I
He was
the guy with
he was funny. Yeah, Phil was funny with the fucking Jerry curls or whatever the fuck he had. Like that was funny. Like I think it was a very funny movie. I thought.
Yeah. It was.
And then it was funny in like creepy ways too. Like the little girl Lily, like constantly looking at us, the audience. That was creepy as fuck, but it was funny too. And she would say funny things like, "Hey, why is he being so silly?" When he's like ripping his fucking stomach out and shit. So yeah, there was
that's
just
because she wasn't hypnotized.
No, she was the demon the whole time.
I know.
Yeah, there was like never.
I'm saying she wasn't hypnotized during that part, like
everyone
else was.
No.
So to her, he was just doing.
Yeah. But so I don't know. By the end of this movie, does it matter? I don't know. I think that like clearly the demon was just like facilitating this whole thing to be released upon the world.
Yeah.
Well, earlier you talked about the switching back and forth between like making you believe is real versus being a skeptic of things.
Yeah.
And when we were watching it at one point, you were like, "Oh shit, I think the
psychic
guy is."
Yeah, I thought he was the devil. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a good way that they did it. Like,
well, the reason I thought that because it's like in pop culture, like what do they say? Well, not even in pop culture, in actual religion, like Christians say, it's like the devil's great.
Devil pulled. Yeah.
Was proving that he did. So why wouldn't he take the form of a skeptic to try to disprove his existence?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, no, there's some very intelligent, like, subtleties in this movie. Yeah. You're like, wow, that's really well done.
But yeah,
what do you guys think about his switch, him flipping the switch at the end and like saying all the typical like bowing down to the demon before he died?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like people that are.
I think that's a joke because
people that are anti-theologian or anti-religion, like when something bad happens, the first thing that comes out of their mouth sometimes is, "Oh my God." Well, like you don't believe in God, but you say, "Oh my God."
I think
like the opposite of that.
I think that's a bit of a joke. What he's saying is poking fun because I've even like I'll say bless you, like I'm an atheist, but I'll still say bless you, but I don't say it because I think I'm fucking blessing you to fucking not lose your soul when you sneeze. I'm just saying it because it's like a fucking colloquialism that is just common to say. But
Gesundheit.
That's true too, but that sounds fucking lame. But there are people.
The origin of it.
I know, but there are people that like, yes, in their last moments will be like. They'll turn to fucking God or religion because they're desperate for like whatever. And then that's something that like religious people say to people like me who are skeptics and non-believers. They'll be like, "Oh, you'll change your mind someday." And it's like, so I think that was like just a fun little way to like poke fun at sort of both sides. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was funny. What did you guys make of the switch to black and white in between filming?
Other
than the fact that it was do you think it was anything else?
No, I think
meaning to it.
No, that was just a technique to just like to just let the audience know what they're seeing versus like.
I wonder if there's any
what the main footage is.
That. Yeah,
I don't think so, but there are.
I mean, I'd probably have to watch it again to see because you're from the very beginning. You're trained to be like, okay, there's some glitches in what's going on. Like there's some audio anomaly. Like you get it with like the key grip or whatever the dude is that's running around, like the stagehand. He's like. We're not seeing anything down here. And you're seeing it as a viewer. And you're seeing the hitches and the glitches and the flashes and everything else. He's like, I don't know what the fuck. It looks fine. So we're going to keep going.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that's really my only one criticism is that I think by the end, I think there was a bit of a stutter step there where they sort of just like, again, we talk about this all the time. I don't need the plot spoon fed to me. I don't need and I don't really need much explanation, but I think this one was a little bit too much, and I think it was a little too ambiguous because
especially it was such a difference. Like it went from over explaining and all this exposition to like, you can think whatever the fuck you want. Who knows what happened?
I think the early exposition was necessary because of the way the movie's presented.
It was, but I'm just saying it's jarring having everything explained to you so much, and then at the end it's like, what the fuck actually just happened?
Like the only thing I'm really sure
off here.
The only thing I'm really sure of is that the demon was like doing all of this to be unleashed, right? I think I'm probably right about my theory about his wife. Like I don't think he willingly sacrificed her. I think it was like all a fucking ruse or whatever, like a evil trick that like the devil would pull.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it could be that, he came across somebody and said, I can make you famous. It's going to cost you not much, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of like you said, a deal with the devil is generally a trickery anyways.
But the ultimate...
and he disappeared for a month because he did feel guilt about what he'd done, but he didn't know that he had fame coming to him. So he came back to do...
But as the devil would do, right? This was and will become his most watched episode. So he got the ratings that he wanted in the end.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the end fun. So they were playing with like a couple of different ideas that I think towards the end kind of bumped into each other. Like I don't really see the connection between the demon and like him signing a deal. Like like you could have arrived at the same ending by just having a girl show up on his show and being possessed and manipulating the audience and everybody into doing all this stuff. I don't really see how that was connected to his wife. Like that.
Well, they don't have to explain. Like, deal with the devil could be figurative or literative.
Well, no, because the demon. No, because when she comes out, when the demon comes out, he's like, oh, we go way back. Like we met in the fucking tall trees. So it's like.
Well, meeting a devil isn't making a deal with the devil, like literally.
No, but they show you the deal. He signs the fucking paperwork. It was like, it's presented to you in the beginning, like, oh, he signed a deal with this new network, and then later on in the end, it was like, oh, the deal was like the fucking
his greatest sacrifice hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah. So I don't know why they decided to connect those two things. That's where I think those two plot points sort of bump into each other for me. But interestingly enough, talking about theories, the interviewer in this Variety article says, all right, I'm going to come out and ask the people in the audience costume, particularly the mute skeleton, which Marvin and I were talking about, is that the devil?
That guy.
And David says, the skeleton to me in the end is someone who's come from the coven to make sure and collect. The devil,
that's what I thought.
The devil, in my opinion, really only makes one quick appearance in the film, and it's quite subtle. I'm genuinely enjoying seeing on social media that people who have now been into their second or third view of the film, and they're going, I see when we got a quick appearance, because as June says, she believes that Mr. Wriggles may not be the Satan itself or Abraxas itself, but a minor deity that is serving towards the greater cause, if you will.
Right.
So
right.
They've had, I guess, internal discussions that the devil is there somewhere, but I don't think even he knows specifically, because he says, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I thought the movie was great. I really, really enjoyed it. I do have only that one criticism that we were just talking about. I think the acting from him specifically, this is like one of the best. Honestly, I think this
he got to monologue a lot, and it was great.
I think this performance is unbelievable. I might be alone in saying this, and I might get shit on. This is up there with like Cillian Murphy's performance in Oppenheimer. Like it's that level of good. He was great. Some of the other acting
David
was like not so much, but he was the main guy. He's supposed to carry the movie, and he did.
This felt like a here you go, buddy. Lead role, take it.
Mm-hmm.
Him like sticking to like right after these messages was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like every time he's
just
making
a quick
sure
word
to get
from
back
our
to the
sponsors.
message.
Yeah.
Like even through all the craziness, we still got to get those sponsors.
Yeah. Like I said, I think all
consummate professional.
Yeah. So yeah, great movie. I really don't have anything to complain about other than that one little thing, and it wasn't enough for me to like not like the movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'll probably watch it more times to see if there's other things that I've possibly missed, because there's
more glitches.
There's a lot.
There was some more that we like, little glitches.
Yeah, but you can like you can go down a rabbit hole with this movie. Like you could watch it on 0.025 speed just to try and see like any sort of flash of anything, and I don't know that I have the time or want or need. I'll just enjoy it for what it was. I'll probably watch it again and pick up a couple things, but I don't know that I'm gonna like.
I don't want to
like watch this to break it down.
No, I think that stuff is really fun though. I think another great example of that is The Haunting of Hill House that was on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think in that show, oh hey kitty. I forget the exact number, but I remember seeing a breakdown of like how many ghosts actually appear in that show. And like
it's like a crazy amount, right?
Crazy amount. And like 90% of them you don't even notice.
Yeah.
There's just fucking motherfuckers like standing in the background, like Michael Myers, like out of focus. And it's like, if you notice
that's
it, you
an
notice
old
it.
film trick that they've been doing. They've been splicing in images in the films for years.
I love that shit.
So
if you notice it, you notice it. If you don't, you don't. But I think that's like the fun of going back, because Marvin did it in real time. He was like, oh, fuck, I didn't see that on the TV.
Yeah, I think them showing her so many times, the way she's like reaching out to him and comforting him does point more to that second theory Dan was talking about.
Mm-hmm. But again, I just don't.
The first one, she's like reaching out to him, and then she's got her hand on his shoulder.
Yep.
So if she was like, what's the word? If she was being
vengeful.
Yeah, I don't think she would be like comforting him or reaching out to him and those sorts of things.
Yeah, I think she was trying to warn him and protect him.
Yeah.
But like, you know, the other thing too is like, I feel like we don't even know if he actually did make a deal. Like, it could have.
He knows that he made a deal.
Maybe she did.
No, but that could be his guilt.
Because he's been fucking around in the Grove and just.
But hang on. Here's the thing.
Doing something and not even knowing what he's doing.
Totally, but hang on. Hang on a second.
That's what makes movies like this great, is we can speculate all the live long day.
Right. I have one more for you. Hang on.
Okay.
That last sequence, we're kind of seeing him in his nightmares. Like, these are things that are nightmares to him. The big bug.
He was like in a time loop hell, for sure.
It was all his like fears, like fear of the fucking giant bug or whatever. That was like something that could be, or you know, just all show related stuff fucking up. What if that whole like him signing the deal and ceremony is just something in his psychosis where he's like, it's guilt, where it's like, did something I do lead to my wife's death? So, and the reason I say this is because he smoked a lot. And there's two major points in this movie. One is they make a point to be like, she's a non-smoker, got lung cancer. And they always make a point to hyper focus on him smoking when he is smoking. It's like a major part of the scene that he's smoking.
Smoke kills.
So maybe in his mind, he thinks that his smoking led to her death. And the imagery that we see at the end is all symbolic for his guilt and fear and nightmares that the demon was just manipulating in him. Because as we've seen in other movies this, demons will manipulate your deepest, darkest fears. So maybe he didn't even meet him in the woods, the demon. Maybe the demon was just like, we go way back. I'm fucking with you. Like, it was just the demon fucking with him, which needed to happen to arrive at the fucking sacrifice. So I think that's the way that I'm going to take it. I don't think any of that shit really happened. I think this demon just came on the show by an act of fate and was manipulating all this dude's fears and regrets and whatever the fuck that he had. That's my take on it.
I love all the theories.
I don't know.
It's great.
It's the devil. Somebody made a deal with the devil, and that's why he showed up. Yeah,
it's the devil.
He showed up.
It's the devil.
He showed up to collect.
Yeah,
and he collected.
Fair.
There was a sacrifice, and it was made in his name. And now we're all under Abraxas' influence. So good luck.
But if you do believe that, though, the connection doesn't line up of the sacrifice and then the demon. That's my only problem. But anyway, I loved it. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever else these guys come up with in the future. They're very creative. I think
This is a good film.
Yeah, I think
Great.
it's getting, just want to mention it like briefly, it's getting like really unfair criticism. I don't know if you noticed, Dusty, Marvin and I were talking about it. There's like little moments where when the show comes back on the air, where it transitions from the black and white back to the broadcast, there's those like bits of illustrations.
Yeah, well, you see the, what is it?
Those
You see
little
the black
cards.
screen with the brown and yellow and white lines.
Well, no,
Make
there's
the
actual
zero.
drawings. They're Halloween drawings. One's like a skeleton dancing. One's like a
Oh,
pumpkin.
yeah.
Those
Sure.
were there's 3 in the film. Those were AI generated, and the movie was getting a little bit of heat on Twitter from like weird fucking people being like, "Whoa,
AI artist theft.
the use of AI is wrong." Blah 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 blah. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, this is a low budget film. Shut the fuck up. Like, it's 3 fucking images. They're not ending careers because they're using it. And they're like, oh, well, it's a snowball. This is how it starts. It always starts small. Fucking shut up, man. There's bigger fights to fight. Like, we're whatever. So I think that's stupid. Yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about the movie. So it's got
Either.
it's got a 7.2 on IMDb. I think for like a low budget effort, I would give this movie like a fucking 8.5, 9, to be honest. I'll go 8.5.
I actually agree with the 8.5 with the
Nice.
second rewatch. First watch, honestly, it was like maybe like a 7.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Watched it
I might
again,
have to
I enjoyed
rewatch
more.
it then. Yeah, because I think it's a strong 7. But I'm a little under on you guys' grading. I don't go as high as you do. 8.5 is pretty
Yeah.
high for me.
True.
So it's definitely a strong 7, maybe a 7.5. Definitely watchable, probably rewatchable and enjoyable. Marvin did it. Apparently, Marvin didn't like it the first time and liked it the second time. So
I did like it the first time. I was telling
Just not
Dan,
as
I
much.
just thought it was just,
just not
it
as
felt
okay.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
that
I'll
makes sense.
totally rewatch this eventually. But just to say one last
Yeah.
thing, it opened in 1,034 theaters in the United States and Canada and earned $2.8 million in its first 3 days. The best opening weekend for an IFC Films release. I mentioned it. It estimated $666,666 gross on its third day. So in the opening weekend, that had to be fudged a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's earning some good some good money and some good praise. So good. I'm glad you like to see that.
Yeah.
Because like we were talking about in the beginning of the show on originality and sequels, this is like the movie that you want to see. It's like super original. And
So did you say you had some problem with some of the acting in it?
No. no.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No,
'Cause
I
I
think
thought all the acting was, I like the girl was great. The
Yeah,
doctor was
definitely.
okay. David was amazing. I
No,
thought
so-
everybody did a really good job.
Some of the acting was like a little bit campy, but I think it was on purpose. I think it just like
Right.
fit the
Okay.
aesthetic.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. So love everything about it. Definitely watch it if you haven't. If you have, let us know in the comments what you thought about it. What are your theories? I think I'm right because I'm always right, but you know, that's whatever. No. Let us know your theories down in the comments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say?
No, great
No.
movie. The jingle was awesome too when they cut to.
Oh yeah.
cut to sponsor.
It was like
It's
very
so, like,
it was very Price is Right. It kind of reminded me
like,
of,
it was
but
just like, dude,
yeah.
it was insane.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for us. Join us next week. It's Make Marvin Watch Week here on the
Ooh,
show
let's
where we
go.
make Marvin
Yeah.
watch some shit that he hasn't seen before.
Should we do a John Woo movie? Have we done it?
We have not,
No.
but it is up to
We
you.
will do that. Okay.
But yeah, join us next week, folks. Subscribe if you have not done so already. Leave a like. It helps, for the algorithm and all that bullshit. We really appreciate it. But we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
See you.
Asta.